match and win on sale now. Blitz coming, Shedeur Sanders, check down to front. First third down, they bring 4. Sanders, quick throw underneath. Field, Waddle having his grasp. And Sanders just able to get rid of the...
I think this is insane, right? Like, if this is true, I think this is crazy, right? At this point, you're in the 5th round. I understand you had higher hopes, but you've dropped to the 5th round, and you're thinking about being a starting quarterback the next year. I think this is incredibly short-sighted. Like, if you're in this situation, you want to go to an organization that is going to develop you, right? Here you have the Baltimore Ravens, the model of stability in the NFL. This regime's been together for how many decades now? And actually has a track record to develop quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, Lamar, right? Instead, you choose the Cleveland Browns because you think you have a chance to start the next year.
The NFL thought the script was locked until Shedeur Sanders smirked, waved it off, and swiped left on the Ravens like a bad dating profile. Now the league's in chaos, fans are melting down, and critics are throwing tantrums big enough to shake seismographs. Why would Shedeur pass on a dream others chase their whole lives? What kind of secret move is he plotting? This isn't just football anymore, it's a high-stakes reality show, and the next episode promises an even bigger twist.
A consensus had been reached. The Baltimore Ravens, were planning to select Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round with the 141st overall selection. But when he found out, he got word back to the Ravens that he preferred not to go to a place where he would be competing and backing up Lamar Jackson. He wanted to be in a place that he could play. And so when the Ravens got that message, they pivoted, went a different direction with the 141st overall selection. And 3 picks later, the Cleveland Browns selected Shedeur Sanders, who will be in Baltimore today, where he could have been spending his NFL career if he were willing to back up Lamar Jackson.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Shedeur Sanders just pulled off the kind of stunt that makes Twitter trolls flatline and leaves NFL insiders gripping their Starbucks cups like stress balls. The Ravens marched in as if they were about to crown him the new face of the franchise, only for Shedeur to shut the door with a casual, "Nah, I'm good." Instantly, chaos. Headlines exploding, fans spiraling, executives scrambling. It's the sort of twist that makes you wonder if the NFL isn't actually a sports league at all but a reality show with bad writers and a genius for cliffhangers.
So it was reported this morning that Shedeur Sanders could have been a Baltimore Raven. The Ravens were actually going to draft him, and Shedeur made it known, "Nah, I'm not trying to play for the Ravens. You already got a star quarterback, I won't see the field." Ironically, if he did go to the Ravens, he'd be in the same situation, not playing. But do y'all think he made a mistake by doing that? Do you think he could have learned a lot being somewhere that wanted him, being behind an all-time great, yes, all-time great in Lamar Jackson? Truthfully, I don't really know why this was announced now. I mean, I guess they're about to play, so I guess that's why. But I don't think it's a bad thing that Shedeur did.
The haters? They're absolutely livid. They're hammering out all caps essays, veins bulging, swearing Shedeur just made the worst mistake of his life. Because to them, turning down the Ravens is basically snubbing a royal banquet. But let's be honest, what's Baltimore's palace these days? It's less crown jewels and more backyard barbecue with wobbly lawn chairs and a tub of last week's potato salad baking in the sun. Shedeur didn't miss a feast, he dodged a stale buffet dressed up as fine dining.
Wild news this morning. Shedeur Sanders reportedly actively rejected the Ravens' efforts to draft him back in April. Let's talk about why. According to Adam Schefter, the Ravens wanted to select Shedeur with their 5th round 141st selection, where they ultimately took Carson Vincent, an offensive tackle, but Shedeur informed them that he was not interested in sitting behind Lamar Jackson in a situation where he had very little chance to play. And maybe that's not a ridiculous mindset to have as a 1st-round draft pick, but when you're sitting in the 5th, you should be jumping at the opportunity for any team to take you, much less one of the best-run organizations in sports that currently has one of the best quarterbacks.
Shedeur, meanwhile, looks completely unfazed. While league analysts sweat through their suits trying to decode his shocking decision, he's probably kicked back with something cold, scrolling through memes about the outrage and laughing harder than anyone. This isn't a guy losing sleep over hot takes. This is someone utterly unconcerned with what a middle-aged fantasy league manager thinks about his career path. The storm's raging outside, but Shedeur's inside, chill, and clearly enjoying the spectacle.
will make that trip to Baltimore today. Could have been a Raven, but he's a Brown, third string on the depth chart, Randy.
Shefty, I mean, the intrigue of Shedeur Sanders and the story of that weekend at the draft just sort of never ends. And so here we hear this, that he chose not to go to Baltimore. Teddy, reaction?
Yeah, you want to go somewhere where you compete to be a starter. That's me. I mean, I don't play quarterback, but I hear that. Listen, I just want to go to any team where I can compete, being behind Lamar Jackson, or I just want to be a starter. Where can I compete to be a starter? I think that's what Shedeur was thinking there.
Does it make sense to you, Randy, for him to say, Lamar's there, he's going to be there for a decade, it's never a place I'm going to get a chance to play? Do you think it's a sensible choice?
Let me piggyback off of Teddy. You talk about Lamar Jackson's going to be probably retired with this organization. So if the backup does get in, he's in for garbage time.
And can we talk about the Ravens' reaction? It's like they expected him to leap into their arms like a contestant getting a rose on The Bachelor. Instead, Shedeur hit them with a plot twist so savage it made their entire front office look like they just got stood up at prom. Now they're scrambling, trying to act like they never even wanted him that bad. That's the NFL equivalent of saying, "It's fine, I wasn't even into her anyway," while sobbing in the shower. Meanwhile, the haters keep insisting he should have grabbed that deal with both hands and kissed it like it was the Holy Grail. But let's not forget, Shedeur isn't desperate. He's not some rookie willing to crawl through broken glass just to wear a Ravens jersey. And you've got to admit, there's something hilarious about how quickly people turned this into an apocalypse scenario. 1 second, everyone's praising his talent, his poise, his potential. The next second, bam, he says no to Baltimore, and suddenly he's a spoiled diva, a problem child, and apparently the downfall of football as we know it.
Because, yeah, you let him play in a preseason game, but why the hell would you let your 2-year developmental project that y'all said Shedeur was, because he was a 5th round pick, why would you put him in against 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson? 3-time MVP Lamar Jackson. They knew what was going to happen.
All because he had the audacity to make his own career decision. The NFL has been around for decades, but Shedeur turning down the Ravens? Oh, that's the end of civilization. It's almost too easy to imagine the haters sitting in their basements, surrounded by empty Dorito bags, raging about how Shedeur doesn't get it. They're screaming into their mics on live streams, demanding he apologize for bruising the Ravens' ego. Meanwhile, Shedeur's probably watching the same streams for entertainment, bookmarking the funniest ones to laugh at later. He's living rent-free in their heads, and the lease doesn't expire anytime soon. The funniest part? The Ravens genuinely thought their offer was irresistible. They want instant gratification, they want him to follow the script, and instead, he's rewriting the entire storyline. Let's be honest, Baltimore isn't exactly the dream vacation spot of the NFL. If you're young, talented, and know your value, why settle for a deal that feels more like settling into mediocrity?
About Shedeur Sanders declining to play for the Baltimore Ravens. Talking to Shedeur Sanders' response to it all, dog. Let's pull it up right now. Reporter had asked Shedeur Sanders about the ESPN report. He stated, "I didn't even know about it until you just told me." And then they asked, was he surprised by the report? He stated, "It don't even serve purpose in my life." So that was Shedeur Sanders speaking about the incident that occurred this morning. And just like I stated, I recorded a video. Let's plug it in right now. Now, as the Cleveland Browns is set to face the Baltimore Ravens today, multiple things came out. Shedeur Sanders has been listed as inactive. And now we got Adam Schefter pretty much saying that Shedeur Sanders was supposed, yes, you about to hear me, supposed to be a Baltimore Raven, but allegedly, I got to put a big allegedly on this, allegedly, Coach Prime and Shedeur turned it down.
Sure, they've got history, they've got culture, but in 2025, they're not exactly the Avengers of football. More like the Justice League if Batman sold the Batmobile and Superman moved to Miami. Shedeur knows this. He knows his ceiling isn't capped by one team's desperation pitch. He's looking at the bigger picture, where he fits best, where his future can shine brightest, and how he can stack his legacy instead of collecting quick paychecks. That's not arrogance, that's strategy. And the fact that so many people can't process that only proves how little they understand about what makes a player truly great. Spoiler alert. It's genius. Because no matter what happens next, Shedeur already won. He got everyone talking, he flipped the script, and he showed the league he can't be boxed in. So let the haters fume. Let them pound their keyboards, let them scream at clouds, let them spiral into conspiracy theories about why anyone would ever reject the Ravens.
So Adam Schefter's come out and basically put out a story that the Baltimore Ravens were going to draft Shedeur Sanders with the 141st pick. And that when Shedeur and his camp found out about it, they told the Ravens no. Like they said, no, we want to go to a place where we have an actual chance of winning, or not necessarily winning, but winning the quarterback job and playing as a rookie, even though it was already in the 5th round. And obviously that would never happen with Lamar Jackson, with the 2-time MVP. He'll be the starter of the Ravens as long as he wants to be, essentially. And I'm kind of torn on this. As I wear my Shedeur Sanders shirt, I'm kind of torn because it's like, Shedeur, it's already the 5th round.
The reality is simple. Shedeur is playing chess while everyone else is arguing over checkers. And when the smoke clears, when the noise dies down, he'll still be standing there with every option on the table and the entire league waiting to see what he does next. And that's the beauty of it. He doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to justify anything. He just needs to keep doing what he's been doing all along, proving that he's not just another name in the draft pool. He's the storm everyone's trying to predict, the story resetting the NFL script, and the one player bold enough to say no when the league expected him to say yes. In the end, this isn't just about rejecting the Ravens. Not clipboard time, not headset time, not let me learn from the sidelines while someone else trips over their shoelaces time. Real game time. The kind of game time where you actually get hit, make plays, and silence every critic who's been running their mouth since draft night. And that decision? It's a chess move so clean that even the Ravens had to sit up and say, okay, maybe he's onto something.
Man, look, I don't know where to start, but let's talk about it. So now the conversation is why Shedeur didn't want to get drafted to Baltimore. Bro, y'all can't be serious, bro. Y'all really cannot be serious. All right, so let's talk about it. So I guess the Baltimore Ravens were going to draft Shedeur in the 5th round, right? They're going to draft him in the 5th round. And Shedeur just told him straight up, like, look, Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. You know, this, that, and that. I don't have a shot at playing in Baltimore. I don't have a shot.
Because let's be honest, Cleveland has been allergic to giving Shedeur a fair shot. They're the team that looks at their broken down car and says, nah, let's keep pushing it down the highway instead of trying the brand new engine in the garage. It makes no sense. You've got a quarterback dripping with talent, swagger, and the ability to electrify a stadium, and instead, you're keeping him wrapped up like he's a museum artifact that can't be touched. Shedeur isn't a painting hanging on a wall, he's a firework waiting to light up the entire sky. And every week he sits as another wasted opportunity. That's why the Ravens guaranteed something Cleveland never did: snaps, throws, impact. He knows it, fans know it, and deep down, the league knows it too. The Ravens were willing to say, here's the field, go make magic. And Shedeur was smart enough to recognize that this wasn't just about money, it was about legacy. Because let's not sugarcoat it, no matter how much cash Cleveland or anyone else waves, no player wants to be stuck on the bench gathering dust while their career clock ticks away. This isn't a 9-to-5 where you can coast at a desk until retirement. This is football, where the window is short, and every missed snap is a missed chance to prove you're the guy.
Back up Lamar Jackson. Guys, this is a major story. And what's crazy is, why are we just now hearing about this? Why is this just now coming out? Why is this even, like, this is just, the draft was months ago, guys. Months ago. Why are we just now hearing this? I think it's a lie. I just gotta be honest, guys. I think they lying. Now I know Adam Schefter is very well respected by Coach Prime.
And Shedeur? He's not trying to be the guy 3 years from now, he's trying to be the guy today. Think about it, every legendary quarterback we talk about didn't wait for their big moment, they demanded it. They walked in, took the field, and said, this is my team now. That's the kind of energy Shedeur brings. He doesn't need babysitting, he doesn't need a year-long redshirt plan. He needs the ball in his hands and a chance to show why every defender in the league should be sweating bullets when they see him under center. And the Ravens were dangling exactly that: instant action, instant pressure, instant glory. The irony here is delicious. The same haters screaming about how Shedeur messed up by rejecting Baltimore are also the ones complaining that Cleveland won't let him play. Do they even hear themselves? They want him to rot on the bench in Cleveland, but they're mad that he turned down a team where he would have started? Make it make sense. Shedeur's decision isn't just about personal glory, it's about sending a message to the entire NFL. He's saying, if you're not serious about letting me play, don't even bother.
You know, and I respect that. Like, we have to understand, like, it's not like the old days where guys just, oh, well, if I get drafted, great, good, no matter what the situation is. No, these players are thinking now, like, well, you know what? Lamar, 2-time MVP, their play style, how they call plays, and their offense, is that a fit for me? No, not really. At least with the Browns, he has a shot. At least Joe Flacco gets pulled for not winning games or not producing or whatever. Dylan Gabriel goes in there and stinks it up or whatever.
That kind of confidence is what separates the good players from the great ones. Lesser players beg for roster spots, Shedeur demands impact. Lesser players smile politely on the sidelines, Shedeur asks, when do I get the ball? That's not arrogance, it's hunger. And the Ravens? They knew feeding that hunger could light up their franchise. Now, Cleveland fans are probably grumbling right now, insisting their coaching staff has a plan. Sure, and I've got a plan to retire at 35 on a private island. Doesn't mean it's happening. If your plan doesn't involve giving one of the most dynamic quarterbacks a shot on the field, then it's not a plan, it's sabotage. Cleveland is like the person who buys a Ferrari just to park it in the garage and drive a rusty minivan instead. The playbook would have his fingerprints all over it, defenses would have nightmares before facing him, and highlight reels would be nothing but Sanders to the end zone clips on repeat. The Ravens were ready to build around him, to make him the centerpiece, to give him the one thing Cleveland seems allergic to: trust. That's the real prize, not the money, not the headlines, but the trust that says, we believe you can lead this team right now.
I'd rather play for the Browns than the Baltimore Ravens. That is the story that's coming out about Shedeur Sanders right now. And it's technically not that he would rather play for the Browns, but he didn't want to be drafted by the Baltimore Ravens because it wasn't going to give him an opportunity to play. And I've been sitting here thinking, what do I think about that? Do I think that he should have gone to the Baltimore, which is obviously a superior team in every single way, has a chance to go to the Super Bowl, or be drafted by a team where he has a chance to play, which means that team has no starting caliber quarterback and is likely not going anywhere near the playoffs and haven't been to the playoffs in quite some time.
And the best part? Shedeur's refusal to settle is what makes him different. He's not just chasing a paycheck or clout. He's chasing game time, impact, and history. That's a mindset that terrifies haters because it means he's not just playing for himself, he's playing to prove them wrong. Every snap he takes is another reminder that he wasn't crazy for demanding better. Every touchdown is another "I told you so" without him ever having to say a word. And let's be real, the Ravens would have been that instant impact team. A place where he could have walked in and immediately put his stamp on the offense. So here we are, watching Cleveland keep him in shackles while the Ravens lick their wounds and the haters scream until their throats give out. And through it all, Shedeur looks like the calmest man in the room. Because he knows the truth, his time is coming, whether Cleveland likes it or not. And when it does, the entire NFL is going to wish they'd given him the respect, and the snaps, he demanded from day one. That's not just a quarterback making a decision. That's a quarterback rewriting the rules. Shedeur Sanders doesn't want sidelines, he doesn't want excuses, and he definitely doesn't want to hear about Cleveland's so-called plan. He wants the ball, the field, and the chance to prove what everyone already knows: he's built for this. And the second he finds the team that hands him that chance without hesitation, the haters won't just be fuming, they'll be begging for mercy.